Mathematical literacy paper 2, and this is a common test of June 2019. So we are looking at a question paper from the province of KwaZulu-Natal. So we're going to start to go through the instructions and information that we are given. I would say that our question consists of 3 questions, and the instruction is that this question paper consists of 3 questions. Answer all questions are very important. And then on the second part, use the annexures in addendum to answer the following questions. Use annexure A to answer question 1.1 and also annexure B to answer question 2.2. Very important. And also, the other that is very important for us, according to this video, is instruction number 7. Round off all final answers appropriately according to the given context unless stated otherwise. Very important for us to take note of that instruction. So in terms of our first question that we have, which is question 1, the question 1 reads, the Rand Show is an annual event in Gauteng. The Gumede family attended the 2019 show held from 19 April 2019 to 20 April 2019 in the Johannesburg Expo Center in Inasri. The Gumede family consisted of 4 adults, 2 pensioners, and 3 children aged 16, 14, and 11. Table 11 in Annexure A shows the times and ticket prices for the 2019 Rand Show. So beneath that, it is a use Annexure A to answer the questions that follow. So you're given the questions here, whereby you're going to start with question 1.1. Calculate the percentage discount for children under 17 and pensioners. And B, percentage discount applies only to early bird tickets and peak days. You may use the formula percentage discount equals to discount amount over peak days price times 100%, obviously with 3 marks. So we start by putting down our formula, which is 1.1, whereby our formula says percentage discount is equal to discount amount over peak days price and of course, we have to multiply it by 100%. So this is our formula that we have. So we try to check now according to our Annexure A. Remember, we are referring to our Annexure A. So this is our Annexure A. We can as well try to go through before we start to answer the question so that you understand the Annexure that we have. This is Annexure that we have. So if we refer back to our question, it says percentage calculate the percentage discount for children under 17 and pensioners. So if you come to our next year, you'll see that this is the price, the normal price, which is 80 rand for children and pensioners, is indicated in the question. Children under 17 and pensioners, which is 80 rand. So with that now, if we go to our early bird discounts, you'd see that the price will be now 50 rand for both children under 17 and pensioners. So it has reduced from 80 to 50. So our numerator, we calculate the decrease, which is 80 minus 50 to get our 30. So we are saying 80 minus 50, and then over the peak days price, of which the peak days price that we have is here, which is 80. So that is going to be our denominator. So we say over 80, then multiply by 100 over 1. So 80 minus 50, obviously we get 30, and then 30 over 80, we multiply by 100 over 1, and we see what we are going to get there. So if you calculate that amount, it's going to give us 37.5%. So this is what we have. So we go to the next question. So our next question reads, calculate the total cost of the tickets, not early bird tickets. If the family decided to visit the gaming entertainment pavilion on the 26th of April. So I remember early bird tickets are these ones, and the question is saying we are not going to use our early bird prices. So we go to uh, this part, and then I will refer back to the question. It says calculate the total cost of the tickets if the family they decided to visit the gaming entertainment pavilion on the 26th of April. And 26th of April is on the if we check according to information that we have, 20th of April applies on the off-peak days in this column. So these are the prices that we are going to use. So remember, we refer back again to the question. Let's see, according to the family, what the component of the family that we have. We have four adults, two pensioners, we've got three children. So those are the ones that we have. So, but we are going to see that the prices that we have for pensioners are the same as for the children. So what we are trying to say is, if you check the price of the children under 17 and the pensioners, we are having the same price. So we are saying we have four which are going to apply for 80 according to what we have in the question, because we have got four adults. So the ones for adults are going to be for adults four, and then for pensioners two plus for children three. So two plus three, since they're having the same prices, we get our five. So it means on this part we are going to have a five. So on the calculation, we're saying 40 times 80 we say sorry we are going to say four times the price for off-peak days. But if you come here, there's an NB that we have here, which reads a gaming entertainment pavilion ticket costs an additional 20 rand per ticket more than the entry only ticket. So what it means is 20 plus 80 on adults, and then the other that we get to multiply by four. Then for children, we are saying 40. Children and pensioners, they're having the same price, which is 40. We add again 20. The other that we get to multiply by 5. So basically, that's how we are going to multiply it. So we come here. This is going to be our 1.2. So on 1.2, what we are going to do, we are going to say 4, indicating the adults. We have got 80 rand that we have in this case is indicated 80 plus the 20 per ticket. That is the additional cost. So we add the 20. Then we add again what is going to apply to um, the pensioners and the children under 17 to give us a total of 5. So we are saying 5. Again, we have our 40 rand plus our 20 rand. So as simple as that. So we have our 40 rand plus our 20 rand. So this is our 20. So this is how we are going to multiply. So if we remove the brackets, we see that we have got 80 plus 20, we get 100 times 4, we get 400. So we have 400. Here, 40 plus 20, you get a 60 rand times 5. You're going to get your answer as 300. So we have 300 rands. So we are going to get a total of 400 rands plus 300 rands, which is going to give us it 700 rands. Then from there, we move on to the next question, which is going to be 1.3. As the 16-year-old child is in grade 11 doing mathematical literacy, she argued that if the family had bought the early bird tickets online, compute tickets are for Monday, the 22nd, and they could have saved more than 30% on the total cost of the tickets. Verify all your calculations whether your statement is valid. So we check, this is on the 22nd. Very important. 22nd. Then we go to our next sheet. We see that the 22nd is going to apply in this column, which is the peak days. So if we go back to if you try to go back to our question, let's just try to see what does question say. So in this case, it means according to the question, we're going to make a comparison of the early bird tick prices and the normal prices. So you can start by the normal prices, whereby the normal prices we are going to base them in the price that we have in this column of peak days. And remember, the 22nd is in the peak days column. So what we're going to do is we are going to, so remember, we have got four that are indicating here. And for here, we have got an indication of five. So 5 people. So 4 times 150, and then we also add 5 times 80. So this is at the normal cost. So we can start with the normal cost, whereby this is going to be our 1.3, whereby we are saying normal costs, we are saying 4 times 150 in brackets, and then we add our 5 times 8 rand. So we calculate simply that further, we are going to get your answer is 1,000 rand. So this is the normal cost. Then we also have the early bird costs that we want to make a comparison with. So we have the early bird costs. So what is going to be our early bird costs there? We go back again to see what are the prices for the prices that we have for early birds. We go down. See that for early bird for adults we have got 100. So 100 for adults we have got 5. Then for children under 17 and patient years is going to apply is sorry, we have 4. There we have 4. Whereby we are saying here we have 4. And then for children under 17 patient years, we've got 5. So 4 times 100, and then the answer that we get, we add to 5 times 50. As simple as that. That's why we're going to calculate that one. So we come back here again. We say 4 times 100, and then the answer that we get, we add it to 5 times 50. So we calculate it like that. We see that we are going to get our answer is 650. So 650. Now we make a comparison in terms of finding the difference now. 1,000 minus 650. 1,000 minus 650. So we're now saying 1,000 minus 650. So we do that. You see that you're going to get your answer is 350. And then if you refer back to the question says they could have saved more than 30% on the total cost. So obviously, we are going to say it's a change that is being made from normal prices to early bird prices. So the normal prices has to be the denominator. So we have got our normal cost being 1,000. So this is going to be our denominator on the calculation of the percentage. So on percentage now we are saying 350. On percentage we are saying 350 divided by 1,000, and then we multiply by 100 over 1. So we see what we get there. So we are going to get our answer is 35%. So we refer back to the question again. The question says verify, show a calculation whether the statement is valid. The statement is that they could have saved more than 30%, of which what we found here is 35%, which is more than 30%. So this means the statement is correct. So we can just make a conclusion that yes statement yes statement is correct. So this is the conclusion that we can make. So I'm going to the next question that we have, which is going to be the question 1.4. The Gumede family planned to attend 2 peak days. So we take note of what we have there. We have 2 peak days and 1 off-peak days. 1 off-peak day. So before driving back to Durban, okay, we can read it again. It says that the Gumede family is planned to attend 2 peak day shows and 1 off-peak day show before driving back to Durban on the 28th of April. The eldest son offered to pay for the shows, calculate the total cost of the early bird tickets. The early bird tickets. So we are going to calculate the total cost of the early bird tickets. So if we go back, if you go there, we are going to see that for the early bird tickets, they apply only for peak days. They apply only for peak days, and then if you come here, you would see that we have got 2 peak days. So for off-peak days, there are no early bird tickets. So it means on the calculation of early bird tickets is only going to apply on the peak days only, since that's where we have only that's where we've got only early bird applying. So we are going to ignore the one off peak one. So how we're going to calculate it now, we use the price that we have for early bird, wherever we have 100 for 4 and then 50 for 5. So this is what we have according to the information that we are given there. So we do that, we say this is going to be our, so this is going to be our 1.4. So we say early bird costs. So we say 4 times 100. So as indicated here, we have got 100 rands for adults, which we have got 4 adults. And then we add 5, 5 which consists the total of children under 17 and pensioners is 5, 3 plus 2. And then we multiply 5 times 50. So we say plus 5 times 50. So what do we get now? From there, we are going to see that we're going to get a total of 650. A total of 650. 650 rands. So this is what we have. We have 650 rands. Right. But I remember, if you refer back to the question, it's saying attend 2 peak days. So we have 2. So you get to multiply by 2. So we are saying it is equal to 650 times 2. And then we are going to get it as 1,300 rands. So 1,300 rands becomes the final answer. So this is what we have. So we move on to the next part of our question, which is now 1.5, which seems to be the last question that we have on our question 1. Mr. Gumede deposited 1.5 million into a fixed deposit account in February 2018 at 7.8% per annum, compounded half yearly. Calculate the interest received at the end of 18 months. So you see that half a year, we know that a year has got 12 months. So it becomes half a year, it becomes divided by 2, so we have got 6 months. So it's a matter of trying to find out how many 6 months are inside 18 months. So we are going to say 18 minus 6, and then we've got 3 times 3 months. Sorry, 3 times 6 to get 18. So we've got 3 6 months into 18. So we are going to compound it 3 times. But for the half yearly, we also take note that we are given 7.8%, which is per annum. So for the half yearly, it will be 7.8 divided by 2. So that's how we are going to calculate it. So we can start by saying what points, let's just try to see. So we can see how we can go about it. So this is our 1.5, whereby we are saying interest rate for half a year. Interest for half a year, we're given the annual interest rate being 7.8. 7.8 percent. So for half, we divide by 2. And then we are going to get our answer is at 3.9. So this is the half yearly percentage. So this is one that we are going to use 3 times as we we are going to get our half yearly percentage being 3.9. So we're saying we are going to use this 3.9 as our percentage for the half yearly calculations. So with that now we can say first 6 months. Remember, we are going to have 3 6 months. So for the first 6 months, what are we going to do? We are going to say our interest rates are given the 3.9%. So we can convert this 3.9% to a decimal. Remember, we say 3.9 over 100, it will going to give us 0.039 to convert it to a decimal. So this is what we have. So with that now, we can say 3.9%, which is same as 0.039. We say 3.9%. We multiply by the total amount that we have, which we are given it is 1.5 million. So it's going to be times 1.5 million, which is 1,500,000. 1,500,000, we multiply it like that. You're going to get your interest for the first 6 months is 58,500. 58,500. So this is what we have for the first 6 months. So we go to the second 6 months. So compounded interest, remember, the interest that we got for the 6 months is going to be added to the principal amount, which is 1,500,000. So it means for the second month, you're going to say 1,500,000 plus 58,500. So in other words, for the second 6 months, we are going to say at 3.9% times in brackets 1,500,000 plus 58,500. So with that, if we do that, it's going to be 3.9% times 1,558,500. So what do we get from there? We are going to see that what we get from there becomes 60,781, 781.50. So it goes again to say for the last 6 months, which is going to be the last 6 months, interest is going to be 3.9% times the last amount, which is 1,500,000, 1,558,500, and then we add 60,781, 60,781.50. So this is what we have. So with that now, we say 3.9% times so this is what we have. So obviously we need to add 1,558,500 plus 60,781.50 cents. And then the total becomes 1,619,281, 281,50 cents. So that we can now calculate the interest that we have, which is going to be we calculate, we get 63,151 runs 98 cents. So this is what we have. So to get the total interest now, we are going to add the 3. So we are saying total interest. So what are we saying? We are saying for the first month, first 6 months, we add this interest 58,000, 58,500. And then we add 60,781.50. 60,781 rands 50 cents. And then we add the last one, which is 63,151 rands 98 cents. So we get the total interest. So total interest there becomes 182,433 rands 48 cents. So this becomes the total interest. And remember, this is the final question that we have on question 1. Of course, we need to move on to our question 2. So moving on to our question 2, it reads that Roberto is an immigrant worker from Chimoio in Mozambique. During the December holidays, Roberto visits his wife and children in Mozambique. He prefers traveling by plane. There are no direct flights from Johannesburg to Chimoio. Roberto takes his connecting flights in Beira. A direct flight from Johannesburg to Beira is 991 kilometers. Then first question, calculate the average speed rounded off to the nearest kilometer per hour of a passenger plane if it takes 100 minutes to fly directly to Beira. So you may use formula speed equals to distance over time. So the question requires us to calculate average speed. Of course, we have to calculate it as distance over time, but remember we have to present our answer in the form of kilometers per hour, which means our 100 minutes, we have to convert them to hours so that we can have a kilometer per hour as our representation of our answer. So we go to our answer section. We're going to start by putting down the formula whereby this is going to be our 2.1. So we are saying 2.1.1, whereby we are given the formula is speed is equal to distance over time. Speed is equal to our distance over time. So in this sense, our distance, according to information given, let's try to refer back. We have given a distance as 991 kilometers. So this is our distance. And then our time, obviously, is 100 minutes. So we are saying distance, we've got 991 kilometers. And of course, we have to make a representation of our time. So for our time, we can take note, it's 100 minutes. But of course, we have to convert this 100 minutes to hours. Of course, we know that 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. So to convert our minutes to hours, we are going to say 100 minutes divided by 60. And you're going to get your answer as 1.6, 0.6. So this is going to be the representation of our time. So in other words, here we are going to say divided by 1.6, 0.6. So this is what we have. So with that now, if we divide there, we are going to get our answer is 594.62 kilometers. 0.62 kilometers per hour. So we pay attention to the instruction that we're given in the question. What does it say? It says rounded up to the nearest kilometer per hour. So obviously the kilometer per hour, if you go back to our answer section, you'll see that this is going to be the kilometer per hour, which we put a 6 behind, which is going to change our 4 to 5. add 1. So we're going to say 595 kilometers per hour is our final answer. So this is what we have on this part. So moving on to the second part of our question is going to be, moving on to the second part of our question, it's going to be our 2.1.2. The Boeing 747 uses 4 liters of fuel per second. Calculate the total amount of jet fuel used by the Boeing 747 to reach a barrier. So it's 4 liters per second, of which we have got 100 minutes. Sorry, 100 is 100 minutes is presented. It takes 100 minutes. So we have to convert our 100 minutes to seconds. So this is 2.1.2. We know that 1 minute is equals to 60 seconds. So to convert our 100 minutes to seconds, we are going to multiply it by 60. By 60 seconds. So if you multiply that, you see that you're going to get 6,000 seconds. So with that now, we are given a rate that we are given that says 4 liters is equal to 1 second. 4 liters equal to 1 second. So for 6,000 seconds, we are now saying 6,000 seconds times 4 liters. And of course, we do that. What we are going to get, we calculate it like that. So we see we're going to get 24,000 liters. So this becomes your final answer. So we move on to the next part of our question, which is now going to be 2.1.3. If a fuel tank capacity of Boeing 747 is 183,380 liters with an average fuel consumption of 12 liters per kilometer, Roberto told his friend at work that the plane can complete 8 return flights from Johannesburg to Beira without refueling. Verify showing all calculations whether Roberto's statement is correct. We can see that our question has got 7 marks. So obviously we are being told that we need 8 return ticket, eight return flights. So it's going to see that is it possible to have 8 return flights out of the 183,380 liters. So we need to know the return flight, the amount of fuel needed for the return flight. Then we divide into the total liters that we have. So we can see that we can come up with 8 return flights. So what we are going to do is we are going to take note of fuel for 991 kilometers. Remember, the distance is 991 kilometers, and we are told that is 12 liter per kilometer. So fuel for 991 kilometers will be 991 times 12 liters. Then you get the total liters that we have to go to Beira. So for the return, we multiply by 2. So that's how we are going to calculate it. So we come here, this is going to be our 2.1.3. So we are saying a fuel for 991 kilometers. It's equal to 991 kilometers times liters per fuel, which we are given liters per kilometer that we are given here is 12 liters per kilometer. So we multiply by 12 liters. Then to get the total liters that we have, which is going to be 11,000 892 liters. So with 11,892 liters is what we need for one way. So for the return, we are now saying fuel for return flight. So fuel for 10 flight, we are now saying 11,892 liters times 2. And we're going to get it as 23,784. So this has been this is going to be the total. So with this now, we can now see the 23,784 liters that we have. How many of them uh, are inside the total, which is 183,380. So we say number of return flights now. So for number of return flights, we are going to say it is equal to our total, which is 183,000, 183,380. Then we divide by 23,784. And what we get by so doing, you are going to get 7.71 is our number of flights. So according to the statement that we are given there, what does it say? It says Roberto told his friend at work that the plane can complete 8 return flights. So you can see that the answer that we got is below 8. So that makes the statement not correct. So we are saying Roberto's statement is not true. So therefore, Roberto's statement is not true. So this is what we have. So with that now, we are moving on to the next part whereby the next part becomes 2.2. It reads Annexure B shows a map of Mpumalanga province. Grade 11 learners from Ekwazin Secondary School in Middleburg are planning a trip to Voxrast when schools close on the 14th of June 2019. And B, the top numbers on the bar scale on Annexure B are kilometers 0, 20, 40, and 80. And the bottom numbers are miles 0, 29, 40, and 80. Use Annexure B to answer the questions that follow. I measure the distance from Middleburg to Volkstrasse on the map and use the given scale to find the actual approximate distance. So with that now, we can refer to our annexure. So this is going to be our annexure whereby we've got the map of Mpumalanga province. So of course, the question requires us to measure the distance that we have between Middlesbrough to Volkstrasse. So let's try to identify the two places. So with that, we can come here. We see that we've got Middlesbrough here. That's where we've got Middlesbrough. Then Volkstrasse. Volkstrasse, we can try to see where we can get it. We have it here. So the distance that you have between the two is which you need to measure. So if you measure it, you are going to see that you are going to get it as 6.7 centimeters. So you're saying 2.2 distance on the map. We can just say distance on the map is 6.7 centimeters. Then, according to the scale that we are given, we can just refer back to the map. We have got 2.8 centimeters equal to 2.8 centimeters equal to our 80 kilometers. So this is the reference that we're going to use. So we are saying 2.8 centimeters is equals to 80 kilometers. So what about 6.7 centimeters? Obviously, we need more kilometers. So we do calculate that. We say 6.7 over 2.8 multiplied by 80 kilometers. So we see what we get there. So we're going to see that we're going to get it as 191.43 kilometers. So that becomes your answer. We refer back in terms of the next question. Give one disadvantage of using the bar scale. So disadvantage of using the bar scale is that it is not accurate as it uses values that are estimated. So we can just try to give it a search whereby we are saying this is our 2.2.2 as our question is saying disadvantage of using bar scale. So bar scale is inaccurate. As it uses estimates. So this can be a disadvantage that we can include there. Then we go to the next part, which is now 2.3. When Roberto arrived home, his family was worried about his weight status. His student told him that he was overweight. For a fair conclusion on the matter, Roberto suggested that they use the body mass index, which is the BMI. The given below is Roberto's height, weight, and the BMI weight status table. So this is the BMI weight status table that we have. And then I believe that it is, I use the information above to answer the questions that follow. So on the first part, we have got calculate Roberto's BMI, rounded up to the nearest whole number, and verify whether his students were correct. You may use the formula BMI equals weight in kg over height. Of course, we are given the weight of Roberto as 91 kgs and height 176 centimeters. So obviously our numerator 91 kgs, then our denominator height 176 centimeters. Then uh, of course, the 176 centimeters has to be converted to meters, whereby we divide by 100 to become 1.76 meters. So this is what we have, and then we can just say 2.3.1, whereby we are saying the 176 centimeters is equals to, we divide it by 100, and we get 1.76 meters. So with that, we can calculate the BMI, whereby the formula is given by BMI weight in kg weight in kg over weight in kg over height in meters squared. Height in meter squared. So this is the formula that we have. So weight, according to the information given, the weight is 91 kgs is given here. So we are saying 91 over the height 1.76 squared. So it becomes 29 29.38. 29.38. So we check on the table, where does it qualify? So we go to the table. This is that 29.38 according to our table. This is the body mass index. So 29 we have got 29.38, whereby it is in this band whereby we have got overweight. So according to the question now, as it's saying, based on the weight status of you may use the formula, we have calculated it, and then they say verify whether these children were correct. So the children were correct because the children said his children told him that he was overweight, of which he is actually overweight, which is correct. So on our conclusion, we are just going to comment and say the children, therefore, the children were correct. So that's what we have on that part. We move on to the next part, which is 2.3.2. Based on the weight status of Roberto in 2.3.1, above, what advice would we give to him? So what advice can you give to a person who is overweight? That's the question. Obviously, advise the person to exercise or to change diet. So those are some of the reasons, some of the advices that we can give. So we are saying 2.3.2. We are saying to physically exercise, and also to change diet. It's also correct. So this is what we have in terms of 2.3.2, which is going to be the last question that we have on our question 2. So obviously we need to move on to the last question that we have, which is our question 3. Moving on to our question 3, it reads, because Nomusa is interested in pursuing interior design as a career, one of the skills that an interior designer needs to master is working with different scales or scale drawing. The picture below shows the dining room table and a chair with actual dimension. So we are given at the table, we are given the chair, and then beneath that, it is refer to the picture and information above and answer the question that follow. If the length of the table on its scale drawing is 8 centimeters, determine the scale of the scale of the scale drawing in the form 1:2. So we are having the scale drawing, the length of the table on the scale drawing is 8 centimeters. And then we see that the actual length is 160 centimeters. So we are saying this is 3.1.1. We are saying 8:160. So exactly as we have. So if we say now divided by 8, divided by 8, we're going to get it as 1:20. So 1:20 is our answer. Then we go to the next question. It reads, use the scale in 3.1.1 above to write down the scale drawing of the dimensions of the chair. So dimensions of the chair, we're going to present our height, our width in the same to calculate their scale their representations are in terms of the scale length, scale in terms of the scale. So as we are having our 78 centimeters as our height, obviously we can try to see according to the information that we have. We can refer back to the question saying use the scale in 3.1.1 above to write down the scale drawing of the dimensions of the chair. Okay, we are now using the dimensions of the chair. So that's how we are going to present it. So we are using the scale that we have on 3.1, which is 3.11, which is 1:20. So in other words, we are saying on the second part, which is our 3.1.2, we are still using 1:20. So we start with our we start with the this is going to be the we can say the length or we can say the width of 44 centimeters. So we are saying length we are saying length or width which is 44 centimeters. So we, if you try to convert it to scale, we are supposed to divide it by 20. So we say 44 centimeters divided by 20, and we are going to get your answer is so your answer becomes 2.2. So it's going to be to have a scale of 2 centimeters. So this is what we have. And then we check in terms of, we now check in terms of the height is given is 105 centimeters. So in that way, we indicate it as such, whereby we are saying now height. Then we divide again by 20. And what do we get? You're going to get 5.25 centimeters. So this is what we have.